Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? My name is Marin TM, and welcome back to Daily Upload number 2. Today, we're going to be going over everything you need to do to get yourself signed in Chapter 3, Season 1. Before we get into that, 68% of you guys watching are not subscribed. So, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing. With that said, let's get into today's episode. Starting this video off, I want to talk a little bit about what an org is looking for when recruiting people to sign. There are a few things that every org is on the lookout for, and here they are. First and foremost, we have how a person appears on social media. What am I talking about here? Well, you guys know those players that always complain and post negative things on social media, whether that being Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Those common phrases like, "I hate this game," "this meta is so bad," or "why don't things go back to the way they were?" Well, this is a very unattractive personality for organizations looking to sign new players. What this simply shows an org is that you are not serious enough competitively to adapt to the game, even when it isn't in its best state. Of course, I'm not saying you're not allowed to voice your opinions on social media, but try limiting negativity, playing the victim card, or mostly anything political. This is undoubtedly the first thing every good organization is looking for when considering signing a new personality or player. The second thing absolutely every org is looking for in a player or personality is consistency. So let's start by taking signing an upcoming competitive talent. What an org would look for would be recent consistency in tournaments that the player has played. If the org sees that the player has placed very consistently over a time span of a few months with few bad placements, the organization is more likely to pick up that player rather than someone who has a few one-off great tournaments and other tournaments where they do absolutely terribly. The same goes for Twitch and YouTubers. If an org sees that a massive YouTuber is inconsistent, the org might actually sign a slightly smaller YouTuber that stays consistent. It's hard to put a price tag on consistency, but trust me, if you stay consistent in what you do, you will be rewarded for it. The third thing an org looks for when recruiting is social media followers and views. Numbers rarely lie, and if an org has the option between choosing a top 5 player in Europe with 0 followers versus a top 10 player in Europe with 50,000 followers, 95% of orgs would choose the second option. Social media presence and following is becoming more and more worth as the esports space grows bigger and bigger every single year. So even if your dream is to become a pro player, spend a little extra time every day focusing a little tiny bit on your social media, because in the long term, that can benefit you tremendously. Moving on, the next topic I want to talk about is whether you should contact orgs or wait for orgs to contact you when it comes to signing a contract and joining a team. This part of the video is extremely important, so sit back and listen closely. First off, I want you to answer this question. Why do you want to join an org? Think about it for a few seconds, or even pause the video. For a lot of people, joining an org gives them some financial support to pursue, well, their dreams. And therefore, a lot of people might want to join an org for the financial benefits and stability that comes with it. If this is your reason, then reaching out to an organization asking to join is completely off the table. Or, in other words, a massive no-no. Because if you come to an organization asking them to join, then they can put a much worse monthly salary in your contract in comparison to someone they personally reached out to. However, if you want to join an organization because of the like-minded, hardworking people in it, or in other words, because of the environment in that given organization, then reaching out to the org is actually not a bad idea. However, how you do it is what matters. 99.99% of people reaching out to orgs asking to join send them either a boring Twitter DM or a boring email. This doesn't make you unique at all. You're just one of many doing the same exact thing. This is where we have to get creative. Instead of sending that boring DM or mail, make a video, make a song, make anything that most people would never ever have thought of. letting the organization know why you would be the perfect fit for the team. I can guarantee that if you do this, you have 10 times the chance of being successful in your request. Now, we've talked a little bit about what to do to get the best possible odds to join an org. But of course, it isn't that simple, because what it really takes is a disturbing amount of hard work and dedication to grow as either a personality or as a player. And that is where each and every one of you guys come in. You have to put in those long hours and be willing to become the best version of yourself. Lastly, I gotta warn you guys of what contracts to never ever in a million years sign. And please listen carefully to what I have to say now, because so many young talents make massive mistakes when signing a contract. Rule number 1. Never ever sign a contract before having someone else look over it. I remember getting my first contract and instantly going to my mother, asking if she would read over it and see if anything seemed off. Even though my mother knows nothing about esports, YouTube, normal salaries, etc., it was still really nice to have someone else's opinion on the contract. After that, I also sent the contract to someone I fully trust within the Fortnite scene, and made him read over it. When both my mother and my friend told me the contract looked great, I was ready to sign it. Rule number 2. Don't sign a contract if the org pushes you to sign within a short time period. Most of the time, when an org wants you to sign within a short period of time, it's to try and trick you into signing. Because when your name is on the contract, there is little to nothing you can do about the terms. Rule number 3. Don't even think about signing a contract without a monthly salary. Nowadays, young talents are often recruited to new young orgs, and these orgs, more often than not, only offer the player or talent editors, thumbnail makers, and social media managers. This is not something to sign your name on a piece of paper for, and I mean it. If I ever see a Marin TM viewer signing a contract with no monthly salary, then I'll be heavily disappointed, because that is something that's never worth it. Last rule. If you don't understand something in the contract you are given, always ask the organization what it means. Don't sign a contract where you don't fully understand everything that's written in it. And legitimate orgs will never have a problem explaining anything that's in the contract to you. Guys, that is gonna be all for today. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of today's video. My name is Marin TM. Stay safe and take care.